Greetings everyone, thank you for coming to my channel. In this video you'll be learning about the difference between than, T-H-A-N, and then, T-H-E-N. Also, I'd like to take a moment to thank you guys for all of the love and support. I've noticed that the views on my videos have been going up, and it's not about the views. To me, it's about the support, and I realize that you guys could be watching anybody else's videos, but you guys choose to come and watch mine, and I really appreciate that. And thank you to those of you that have been interacting and liking some of my videos, because that tells me that my videos are providing value, and I really appreciate that. You can also feel free to comment and give me feedback, and I would really appreciate that as well. And when I say feedback, that can be any type of feedback. That can be positive feedback, like things you liked about the video. That can be negative feedback, things that you want me to improve on. Well, that's not really considered negative feedback. I think that's constructive. Or you can give me recommendations, like videos you would like me to make, or just anything. Okay, thank you. Now let's get to the video. Okay, so than, T-H-A-N, is used when making comparisons. So our first example says, Allie is smarter than her brother. In this example, we're comparing how smart Allie is to how smart her brother is. And clearly, Allie is smarter than her brother. Our second example says, my son is taller than all of the other students in his class. So we're comparing how tall my son is to how tall all of the other students are in his class. So clearly, my son is taller than all of the other students in his class. So he's the tallest person in the class. Well, taller than all of the students. The teacher could be taller than him, but we don't know. Our third example says, I like playing soccer more than I like playing basketball. So we're comparing how much I like playing soccer to how much I like playing basketball. So clearly I like playing soccer more than I like playing basketball. Than is also used in the saying other than, which means except. So our first example says, I don't like any candy other than Skittles. Or you could say, I don't like any candy except Skittles. Our second example says, I don't have any plans other than my appointment. Or you could say, I don't have any plans except for my appointment. And our third example says, I don't have any complaints other than receiving terrible customer service. Or you could say, I don't have any complaints except for receiving terrible customer service. So notice how if you replace other than with except or except for, it makes sense. So just remember that other than is another way of saying except or except for. Then, T-H-E-N, has multiple uses. When talking about something that happened next, for example, first I'm going to school, then I'm going to basketball practice. Or I tied my shoe and then I chased after my friend. Or I ate breakfast and then I went to work. And I'll be elaborating on all of these in the next few slides. I'm just giving you guys some warm-up examples. Then is also used when talking about something that happened in the past. For example, back then I was really fast, but now I'm slow. Or you could say, I got arrested for drinking and driving. Since then, I don't do that anymore. Or you could say, we used to be friends, but that was back then. Then is also used when using if-then statements. For example, if you don't brush your teeth, then you could get cavities. Or you could say, if you don't wake up on time, then you'll be late to work. Or you could say, if you don't eat your food, then you'll be hungry. Then being used when talking about something that happened next. Our first example says, first I went to work, then I went home. So the first thing that happened was me going to work. The next thing that happened was me going home. First I went to work, and then what happened next? I went home. Our second example says, my friend bought me gifts, then she gave them to me. So what happened first? My friend bought me gifts, and then she gave them to me. And our last example says, I woke up and then I took a shower. So what's the first thing that happened? I woke up, and then after that, I took a shower. Then being used when talking about something that happened in the past. Our first example says, back then, my attitude was way worse. So notice how we're talking about how my attitude was in the past. Example 2 says, I used to be rich, but that was back then. So notice how we're talking about how I used to be rich in the past. And our last example says, I got a cavity when I was a kid. Since then, I've been taking care of my teeth. Notice how we're talking about something that happened in the past. Then being used for if-then statements. Our first example says, if you don't like your life, then change it. Our second example says, if you want a car, then buy one. And our last example says, if you don't like the way you're being treated, then speak up about it. Okay, so before I head out, I'm going to do a little recap. So don't forget, than, THAN, is used for comparisons. For example, my hair is shorter than his, or he's taller than me. Than, THAN, is also used when saying other than. Other than is just another way of saying except. For example, we could say, other than breakfast, I haven't eaten anything today. Or we could say, other than work, I don't have anything planned today. And if you're ever wondering if you use other than correctly, try replacing it with except or except for, whichever makes sense. Then, THEN, is used when we're talking about something that happened next. For example, first I brushed my teeth and then I took a shower. Or we could say, first I went grocery shopping and then I went to get my car washed. Then, THEN, is also used when talking about something that happened in the past. For example, we could say, I used to be the star of the basketball team, but that was way back then. Or we could say, I got caught stealing and went to jail. Since then, I stopped stealing. And lastly, then, THEN, is also used for if-then statements. For example, we could say, if you don't go to work, then you won't make money. Or we could say, if you don't wash your hands, then your hands will be dirty. Or we could say, if you don't wear your jacket, then you will be cold. Okay, that's all for my recap. Hopefully, with all of the examples I gave you guys, that helps you to have a better understanding. If you're like me, you need a lot of examples to understand things. Well, with some things, I only need a couple of examples, but usually, if I get a lot of examples, that helps me have a better understanding of things. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you found this video informative. If you did find this video informative, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above, and I'll see you next time.